Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about bookshelves. So this is Mart. It's in Swamptown. Has one of the original bookshelves. We're right about there on the map. It's got a bunch of other stuff in there too, but specifically it has the old style of bookshelves in behind the counter here. They have the bar. They have the well, which you barely ever see anymore, 450. And then they have the bookshelf. So these are pretty cheap. They work pretty well. They have an interesting interaction with this style of house because if you put them up on that back wall there, it actually makes it look a little bit more 3D. Just by the way that the color has been aligned on this, it actually looks almost exactly like this when it gets placed in your house. Okay, there's some more cool stuff downstairs too, but we'll leave that for another time when we're doing a shops episode maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna hop into my guild house here. Where I have a selection of, oh, I may not enter house while on wall. Okay, well, I'm just going to go back in the store then. Try again. So I have a selection of bookshelves laid out in my attic here. I'll just hop in there quickly and we can have a look. Okay. So there's a bunch of different types of bookshelves. These ones were way back when. You can see that the style has somewhat evolved. But this was originally sold in Modtown. There was a whole set of furniture, looked about the same, same level of detail, same style. This is a more recent gingerbread bookshelf. You can see the size of the books has increased, the layers, the shading, even the depth of this object. You can see that it looks even a little bit deeper and a little bit less flat than this one. Just by the shading and the coloring technique that's been used. Whoever drew this, obviously they were using a lot of line shading. They had the little lines with the dots showing up on top here. Where they had single color, background for these books. For some reason, there's light penetrating in here, and it doesn't look the same on the level where the shelf actually sits. In here, you can see that there's actually a grade of color, like the gradient of color goes back. So you can see that it's bright on the front, gets a little darker, and then when you get to the back, it's actually a really dark brown color, deeper inside the shelf. Same with the book itself. You can see that the top of the book is actually quite dark, while the actual front of the books, like the covers of the books, the spines of these books, and the tops of these jelly belly, they're not jelly belly, they're jujubes. Sorry. They're bright. You can see that they have some depth and some shading is going on there. Whereas these guys here are a single color. The top of the book is the same color as the front of the book, and they're all pretty small. Some people like the old style better. Some people like the new style. This is the direction that the development has gone for the art style of the game. You can see here this is kind of even more advanced in that art style. This one's pretty standard. The books are a little smaller. It's kind of in between even this one. You could say maybe that this transition was, from this smaller bookshelf with the line detail. You can see the lines in the top here. You can see those individual, the wood grain is what they're going for here, and you can see that these are actually clearly wooden boards in this one, and then this one's got like a textured cookie panel. It's supposed to be gingerbread. It's pretty light, but I'll go for it. The icing looks good anyway. On this one, you can see that the books are still pretty small. Only a couple colors on there, but it still is looking a little bit more depth. In the top here, you can see the shadows are coming in on these objects that have been placed. And, the books themselves, maybe they're not as big and clunky as these ones here. This one here is actually relatively recent, this nautical bookshelf. It's actually like shaped like a boat. It's post this one, so this is actually further ahead. And you can see the size of these is varied as well. These are actually non-standard, the nautical theme bookshelf and the treasure bookshelf. This treasure bookshelf is actually a unit taller. These guys are the standard. When we see stuff in Nexus, you see stuff in Revolution, you typically will see this. They're 4 high and they're the same throughout. I have various bookshelves in the house, and they're all about this size. Sometimes, very rarely, you'll see one like this. For instance, the Halloween-themed Bat bookshelf will have that topper. It's got like an upper panel up here, which has got candles and potions and stuff. Okay, so these guys all, I've just placed them. You can see that these first 3 are layer 0, and this guy is layer 1. It's actually an interesting choice, because for these guys here, these layer 0 items, we can use this book to represent an actual book, and I can keep that up on top. If I use my grid, so my half increment movement, I can really arrange them just about however I would like. I can keep that book up on top. I can do the same thing over here. And it looks like it's actually sitting up on top of those 0 layer bookshelves. And I think this was a conscious choice with the case of the nautical theme bookshelf. I can't sit, even if I make this a layer higher, I can't sit this book anywhere on this bookshelf and make it look like it's going to fit naturally, right? This isn't going to take a group of items around it, maybe something in front of it, maybe something behind it. It would be cool if you had like, one of the beach theme umbrellas. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll throw one of these in here just to illustrate the point, if I have one. I do. Look at that. There's a beach umbrella right there. So we could throw a beach-themed umbrella in behind this guy, and it would look pretty cool. Again, it's a layer 1 object, and it's going to look good stuffed behind this other layer 1 object. Whereas this book, I've made layer 2. It's not going to fit anywhere on this object. It's not really there. So you see these guys are layer 0 default, and it might be, I'm not sure, but it might be a conscious decision to make it layer 0 so that you can actually interact with these guys quicker with the layer 1 objects when you're doing your housing. Another thing that you can do with some of these guys is add an object. If you have a very small object, for instance, up here, I have this crypt candle. You can keep a crypt candle. It almost looks good in here. You can kind of see it fitting in with the books. This one not so much, this one not at all, right? So sometimes you can get a little creative with your placement. I'm going to put that back inside here to illustrate my point. I'm going to take out the other books over here. Oh, that was a little bit low. Keep it a little higher under there so it's all hidden. So this one here, this is a stack of books. This was from the Library Nexus. It comes with a variety of different layouts for your book pile. I like the first one and the last one the best because they give you a little bit of depth to work with. So this is the first orientation of this bookshelf. It looks like books piled beside the bookshelf. The only thing about this guy here is that it doesn't really work because these books look like they're for children and these are giant, big, grown-up books. This one's kind of got the same issue, except for it does get away with it a little bit, just because the colors are so similar, and you can see that these guys have that same single band across it, and these have the same kind of an effect. I like it with the gingerbread bookshelf. There's one called a wooden bookshelf. It looks really good with as well. It's basically the exact same books on the wooden bookshelf. Notice that these are not the same as that first bookshelf that we highlighted in the Meyer Mart store. So this is an old item. This is a special event item. This is a special event item. This is an item that you have to do treasure maps to get. This one up here, this was also a special event. This is a recent event, a Christmas event. So when we see these guys here, these books really interact well with the first 3 over here, except for the appearance, the style difference on the first one. They also work well with this one here. So you can see that it's the layer 1 object again. This is another layer 1 object. This is another layer 1 object. We've got this a little bit down further. You can see that the lip of this bookshelf is up. It's to the right. So like if we were to bring this up and make it level with the bookshelf, it's going to hide behind it. Also looks okay. But when you're looking for that effect where you want to kind of have it sitting and you want to use the depth of this particular item, These guys, they want to sit on the corner, so you want to just kind of adjust it so it looks like. And I mean, you can make it however you want, really, but I like to make it so it looks like it's sitting on the edge, and kind of coming around with this depth in the front as well. Okay, so going up to this guy up here, this one doesn't have layers. So this is a Christmas shelf. I think it was actually just called Christmas wardrobe or Christmas bookshelf or something. And the way that it works is it's actually got multiple layers in the object itself. So it has this set of drawers in this current orientation. These drawers kind of shift around. You can see that so there's upper drawers. There's, I think, a no drawers. There's a glass drawers. There's a cupboard, I guess. There's a lower one. There you go. That was the one I was going for. So you can see that these are interactive. When you use your glove button. I was going to say grab A, but A is not actually showing on here today. So when you use your glove button, you can actually open and close those doors. And if you're creative with your layers, if you understand that the doors are going to be layer 2, so if I walk in front of these doors, my head is going to be hidden. But these doors are layer 2. So if you keep an object that's layer 1, this is the Crypt Candle this is from Club Crypt on Halloween time. So if you keep this object in here, it's going to be layer 1. You know that those doors that are coming in are going to be layer 2. They'll cover it up. So you can get a little bit creative. This is kind of a new theme for furniture. There's also a handy set that's a little bit similar in style at Red Barn. In fact, you know what? Let's end this session. I will take you guys there. We'll head over to Red Barn and have a look at that session, that set of bookshelves. Okay. So I'm going to head to Stables here with my warp ring. You'll notice I don't do quest content. I don't want to spoil the game. I want to more so look at the content that we have available for players and help them learn how to use the furniture content. Specifically in these videos, there's some bounty stuff that I've been doing. I think it's good to get it out there. There's specifically tricks with the bounties, and I don't feel that those spoilers are too heavy duty. Knowing what and how to kill them, I think it just makes it a little bit easier. And I mean, if you're going into a bounty video, you know, that's what you're going to be seeing is the tips and tricks on how to kill them fast. Okay, so this is the set. I really like the art style on these guys. I don't think that I like this lip on these particular ones here, but you can see that they've got that same kind of thick book. The books are a little bit taller. They have 2 bindings on here, not just one. There's not like one band, like there's a title bar or whatever it is on the spine of the other books that we were seeing in the guild house. It also has other furniture that goes with it. So if you like this style, I've been thinking about getting one of these for a while, but as you can see, I got 1,000 furniture in my inventory. I can't buy one until the next time I purge down to below 100. There's a bunch of other cool stuff in here. The neat part about this set, which doesn't really relate to the bookshelves, is that they're all color coordinated. So if you choose to have a yellow bed cushion or whatever color that you want, you can get a full set of furniture. You can have your lamp that color, you can have your bed that color, you can have your stools that color, you can have your carpet that color, you can have your blanket that color, you can have your hat that color, right? So if you want to make, you know, a kitsch kind of color-coded place. I think even your jam can come in that color, you know? It's just anything. So yeah, if you want to make like a country bed and breakfast style house, that's definitely the set for you. Anyways, back to these bookshelves here. You can see this is kind of halfway, right? I think that this would do really well if there was some kind of furniture that you had just a covering space for, like you wanted to put a space in between. Because again, if you look at the height of this, it's a little bit short. It doesn't come all the way up to the top like the other ones do. It's offset from the wall when you place it because it doesn't have that same, it's not the same as that first bookshelf that we were looking at that has the layer that comes through to the front. So it's definitely like a freestanding piece. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the house here. I want to just have one more thing. We'll close with one piece of detail that I think is super important, specifically for bookshelves. Other than writing things and putting them in underneath bookshelves, which I will go over here, there's another piece that I want to discuss, which is how to place them effectively to create depth in your layout. So this right here, this is the one. This is this special bookshelf. Makes this whole entire place pop out just because of this one thing right here. You can see that this bookshelf is placed underneath this fence. This is a treasure fence. Used to be on sale, not now. It's an old item. You can use a normal wooden fence. Acorn fence looks really nice here too. But you'll see that this particular bookshelf is, you can see both sides of this bookshelf. And to create an idea of depth in here, it looks like this is on top of the whole floor down here. It looks like you've gone up a level and you're walking around specifically because this bookshelf is kept underneath this fence here. If I were to move that out, you can see immediately that it looks flat. You can see that hard edge in there makes it look flat. It makes the whole thing not really work the same way. So I really encourage this kind of clever positioning. This is a layer 0 object. I've kept it at. These guys here are, I think, layer 2 or layer 1. Yeah, layer 2, because there was some interaction over here with these steps. I've also hidden it and pulled attention away from it a little bit with this, which I'm reluctant to do, but I liked these streamers. I might take them out at some point, make it a little more down to earth and homey. So if I were to place an object underneath this bookshelf, right now I can walk into it. It doesn't say anything. I think this one here says something because I've placed an object. It's a secret to everyone. So see that object? I've highlighted that object in there. I think it's a box or a strange brick. It's a box, and it's at layer 0. And this guy here, also layer 0. I will take this layer 0 object, and because it's up and left, if I take it and I place it in the bottom right-hand corner, they're on the same XY axis. They're not going to interact very well. If I take it one over to the left, sometimes this will pop out. If I use my shift movement and I put it up just a half an increment, it will never. This will not show up. It will read it that the Y coordinate is different than the covering bookshelf's Y coordinate, and it will allow you to keep the text there, but the box will remain unseen. So I can still touch it. It's still got a collision because that's how it interacts with that space. But you'll be able to keep your text on there. So if you want to make, for instance, I could put 2 objects per bookshelf. If I had some individual objects that were small, like this lava lamp here, you could put 4 objects in your bookshelf, and you could make it so that when somebody touched it, randomly they touched one of these things, and they would be able to read whatever it said. You know, put some humorous book titles or some tips and tricks, or some kind of lore or something in there if you're part of a guild. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. Okay, so that about does it for bookshelves. Don't forget to run with your Pegasus boots and hit anything that seems suspicious. Sometimes something like this might fall off of there, and you might be able to find something that's useful in the game world too. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.